The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Remember how good Elias Pettersson was when Andrei Kuzmenko was in Vancouver? And guess what happened after Andrei Kuzmenko left? He hasn't been the same since.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on? Happy Hump Day and welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks writer currently with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into the show, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks because it is your Canucks every damn day. And man, oh man, things are about to pick up now. The Cup Finals done. Buyout window about to open. The draft next week. Free agency right after that. Boom, bam. Things are about to get busy for your Vancouver Canucks. So let's talk about one free agent in particular today. Before we do that, let me shout out our friends, over at FanDuel, because right now new FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Andrei Kuzmenko, he was arguably one of the best signings of the Patrik Allvin era when he initially brought him to Vancouver. Obviously, his career hasn't gone on an upward trajectory since that first year, but he's now a pending UFA, and he played his best hockey with Elias Pettersson, who, hasn't been the same since Andrei Kuzmenko left. So let's ask the question today. Should the Canucks target Andrei Kuzmenko in free agency to help unleash Elias Pettersson? We'll also touch on the Abbotsford Canucks giving up a good old thumping to the Charlotte Checkers last night, getting some news, notes, rants as well. Boom, bam. Before we do all that, let me introduce my co-host. I'm excited for today because I don't think we're going to agree on things. Kyle Bhawan, how's it going, brother?
Yeah, let's just change this whole episode up, okay? The do not do list for the Vancouver Canucks this offseason. And on top of that list, it's bringing Andrei Kuzmenko in. Trevor, how do you just watch what Florida did this offseason and you're like, you know what? Let's sign Andrei Kuzmenko. Did you not see like Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson for the Edmonton Oilers? You got to think bigger, bro. You got to think better. Okay, so we're switching this up. You could rant about Andrei Kuzmenko, and maybe you have like, I don't know, an article out there that you read about the friendship between Elias Pettersson and Andrei Kuzmenko. And I know the data does show that, when Kuzmenko did leave Vancouver, Pettersson just turned into something else. Maybe their friendship really matters. I don't know. I'm excited to hear this, but in no way, shape, or form am I ready to go that way with this team, okay? For real. And you know what, Trevor? When you brought this up this morning, I'm like, you know what? Let me do some research and find out the whole list of all these UFAs out there. And there's a couple guys that I just do not want the Vancouver Canucks signing because, bro, I want Orca Whales to play like Panthers moving forward. Hey, that's what you get, man. When Trevor gets you addicted to the game of hockey, you look at it differently. And yeah, you don't win with players like Andrei Kuzmenko up your lineup.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways you can win in hockey. And I do think that, again, Andrei Kuzmenko and Elias Pettersson brought the best out of each other. I mean, Kyle, how many nights did we see them when they were in this lineup together? They were the most two exciting players on the Vancouver Canucks on a team that included Quinn Hughes. And, of course, season 2 didn't really go to Andrei Kuzmenko's plan. Fell into Talkin's doghouse a little bit. Could that happen under Adam Foote? I mean, there's a good chance of it. But you look at Andrei Kuzmenko now, and he's a guy that isn't going to break the bank in free agency and a guy that has top 6 potential. And, for this talk about you don't win with guys like Andrei Kuzmenko, look at the series against the Los Angeles Kings, the Edmonton Oilers. He was one of the best players for the Los Angeles Kings in that series. 3 goals, 6 points in 6 games, top 5 in that team in scoring, a couple power play bingos as well. I mean, look, I don't necessarily buy the notion that Andrei Kuzmenko can't get it done in the playoffs. Yeah, he's not Sam Bennett. He's not Matthew Tkachuk. But you still need guys on the team to score, and the Canucks desperately need guys to score. And again, you could get a guy on the cheap to Vancouver, relatively speaking, who, again, could bring the best out of Elias Pettersson. I mean, we all know it. They were dynamic together during their time in Vancouver. And again, for when they traded Kuzmenko away, obviously they had to do it to get Lindholm in, improve the center depth. It made sense at the time. Kuzmenko was falling out of favor with the Canucks. But again, you look at it, ever since Kuzmenko left, like that was the point in which Elias Pettersson's downturn started. Yeah. I'm not saying it was all Andrei Kuzmenko, but You look at Pettersson now, a player who's, maybe rattled a little bit fragile, and hopefully he's hungry just to light it up next season. But he had a lot of chemistry with Kuzmenko, and that does mean something, especially when you're looking at a pretty thin free agent market.
Well, first of all, Trevor, we don't got to cater towards Elias Pettersson, like find him the right guys to play. Dude, you had JT Miller. You had Elias Lindholm for a bit. You even had Kuzmenko in that year too. Like if their chemistry was rock solid in that second year they played together, they're not trading Kuzmenko. Look at the film. It wasn't there. Honestly speaking, even like 5-on-5, Elias Pettersson, when he was a point per game player outside of that month in January of 2024, I just feel as if he wasn't an X factor. Like he was a bit of a merchant playing with Quinn Hughes and JT Miller. And look at Kuzmenko in those last 4 games against the Oilers in that series. He had 1 assist. I'm telling you, you're not winning with Andrei Kuzmenko up your lineup and him being a priority for this team, okay? For real. I'd rather this team give up assets to bring in a guy like Carter Verhaeghe or something honestly, he wasn't even like a top 10 player for the Florida Panthers this year, but I'm pretty sure they're going to trade him to try to keep Marchand, Ekblad, and Sam Bennett. You just do not win with Andrei Kuzmenko on your team, especially as a priority. There's no way. And especially if it's like Operation Fix Petey, let's bring Kuzmenko in. Unless you're paying this guy like $1 million, which you're not, right? Because if Victor Arvidsson can get 2 years at $8 million, right? You're pretty much, it's somewhere around that ballpark or a contract that Kuzmenko already signed. Like he's going to get paid. It's not good enough, man. It's not good enough. And this whole notion that like the Canucks have to bring in the pieces to help Petey out is just way too counterintuitive. They've already, in my opinion, like necessarily kind of tried that, and they're just going about it in a different approach. It's like, yo, you fix yourself. And we'll take care of the rest. So, honestly, like, do not sign Andrei Kuzmenko. Please do not sign Andrei Kuzmenko. Do some more research. Get some more, I don't know, man, like some more grit. Make a trade, but do not bring Andrei Kuzmenko back thinking that he's going to help, raise the ceiling of this team.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, honestly, they tried the whole, like, let's get a guy for PD last offseason with Jake DeBrusk. And, like, what was one of the first things out of Allvin's mouth is we wanted to find a winger for Elias Pettersson. So, like it or not, that is going to be a mantra of Canucks management to find a guy for PD. And, look, I think the argument with Kuzmenko is, I think it makes sense to find a guy for PD. I mean, yes, Kuzmenko can't be your top priority. You can't just, sign players to cater to Elias Pettersson. But the fact that these two showed some pretty insane chemistry during the time together, this isn't just a shot in the dark here. Like it worked between those guys for a long stretch of time. And yes, it didn't work towards the end of the Tocchet tenure. I think that's probably more on Rick Tocchet than Andrei Kuzmenko himself. But again, Kuzmenko, not the top priority, but not a guy that's going to break the bank. And you're right, probably something in that $3 to $4 million range is probably what he's going to get. From the Kuzmenko camp, I do wonder if is there some hesitancy to come to Vancouver. This is the team that traded you away less than 12 months after signing you. But I think it goes back to the Elias Pettersson factor. I mean, Pettersson, he's lost his mojo a bit. He had his mojo with Kuzmenko. Kuzmenko certainly had his mojo with Pettersson. I just think there's something there, man, especially, the Canucks. Again, we've talked about it. They were one of the worst offensive teams in the league last season. They could do worse than signing a guy like Kuzmenko to be on the power play and play with Elias Pettersson, especially if they're about to lose Brock Besser and Pius Suter.
I mean, if they're thinking about signing Andrei Kuzmenko for like $3 to $4 to $4.5 million, like, dude, you're better off just, paying the extra to keep Pius Suter. Straight up. That is just the truth, man. He's not coming back here, man. He's not coming back here. And again, I looked at the list. We're going to go through the list of other guys I just do not want on this team. And maybe we'll sprinkle in some guys I do want because it's offseason mode. Next season started last night. I'm excited. And it's operation with the Vancouver Canucks. So many moves, man. So many moves to be made for this team. And one move that they can't make now is Ryan Donato. Okay, 31 goal scorer, a center, quote unquote. Not the biggest dude. Again, not a guy that could like fix everything for the Canucks, but since the Canucks don't have like a second line center, quote unquote, he could have been an option. He just signed with the Chicago Blackhawks at a pretty reasonable amount, right? 30 goal scorer, 4 years, $4 million per year. You know another that guy that can't sign? Trent. No, what's his name? What, is it Trent Frederick?
Trent Frederick, yeah.
Yo, this guy signed an 8-year deal worth
Has that,
24.
has that already been signed? Holy, I don't know. It was reported earlier this morning. Wow.
8-year deal worth $32 million.
Oh.
$4 million per.
Yeah, he had what, 1 goal and 4 points in 20 Stanley Cup final games. I mean, I know he was playing banged up, but that is, that's wild.
I know the reports are out right now. Like that's what I'm seeing. All in all, though, like I'm happy that guy got picked up because if that's how much, like, why did the Oilers do that? They just totally effed up the whole market by doing that. All in all, though, we'll get to more names. Do you want to say any last words on Kuzmenko? Like, do you know about their friendship? Is there something that you're hiding from us, or are you just holding on to the 2023 mixtape that Dmitry Filipovich released like a couple years ago, showcasing the chemistry between Pettersson and Kuzmenko? Because I'll accept that. They did score some nice goals together. Like that 1-2 punch, it was sexier than Brock Besser and JT Miller. When they were
I'll throw it to a commenter to answer your question and wrap up this segment here on Locked On Canucks. Olivia on the go in the comments talking about Kuzmenko. I mean, making some points. He's either hot or ice cold. But mentioning this, then again, Kuzi's a fun guy. He keeps it light. And the Canucks were absolutely lacking that in their locker room this year. I mean, for my time in the dressing room, like Kuzmenko is definitely one of, even though he could barely speak English, one of the most fun guys to be around. Like, it's hard not to put a smile on your face when you're around Andrei Kuzmenko. Again, he's got some skill in the ice. Look, he's a flawed player, obviously. Like Olivia on the go saying, he's hot or ice cold. But again, if you can get him on the cheap, he's got top 6 potential. He's got built-in chemistry with Pettersson, and he brings the good vibes to the room as well. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm into the idea of a reunion between Kuzmenko, the Canucks, and Elias Pettersson.
Okay, Trevor, I will say this too. Like I did say, Florida's not winning a cup if they have Andrei Kuzmenko on their team. Like that's saying a lot because I know he's not like the greatest guy. He doesn't finish his checks, and like there's a specific way you got to play in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And again, the whole Victor Arvidsson, Jeff Skinner thing is scaring me about the Oilers, right? All in all, though, how often, and I know this is the case with all the best teams in the world, but how often did you hear about the Panthers' chemistry and how much fun they were having? They pretty much made Dairy Queen the official pre-workout of the NHL because they're all eating ice cream together and laughing. And Kuzmenko's, drinking Pepsi. You can see the connections. The fun part is important, but the hockey part matters more. Like that playoff style of hockey matters way more. And a part of me just feels like, and I wonder, again, we'll touch on this more, let it simmer a bit, but I wonder if the Florida Panthers changed the game, quote unquote, forever. Because I know we were like going down the skilled route and the highly skilled route. And don't get me wrong, Florida has a lot of athleticism and they're very talented. And, they average 4 goals a game in the Stanley Cup Finals, or 4.5 goals a game in the Stanley Cup Finals. They score goals. But they made hockey feel a bit old school again, but in the right way. Like it's a good in between. And I wonder what that does for guys like Kuzmenko and their contracts.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point, Kyle. And again, that would lead me to maybe even being more interested in Kuzmenko because, the pendulum does swing, right? It was a lot of gritty, heavy teams made it to the Stanley Cup Finals until 2015 when Tampa and Chicago made it. And to me, that was a final that changed the game. You're right, maybe the pendulum's swinging back the other way. I think around the NHL, like you got to be able to move your feet and skate, but defenses around the league are tightening up league-wide. And that, again, makes, your defense and good goaltending, a big key to Stanley Cup success as well. Okay, on the other side, let's pick up this conversation. Let's talk a little bit about the Abbotsford Canucks, who, man, oh man, put on a good old Sammy Blais thumping last night on the Charlotte Checkers. We'll get to that.
Hold up. I want to talk about more players, Trevor, because I'm on a hockey nerd out. Can we move Abbotsford to the third segment, please? Because I want to go through some other names. And because you got me going this morning. You pissed me off this morning. I'm not going to lie. Okay?
We'll get to Kyle's list on the other side here on Locked On Canucks. Oh man, Kyle, I like seeing you all riled up, man. The nipples are tingling under that cream shirt, man. Unbelievable.
Yep.
Man, hey, if you're feeling yourself, make sure you go check out FanDuel, okay? Because man, NBA, we're about to wrap up. NHL has wrapped up. And now we get the futures odds for next season. But whatever you're placing your bets, again, make sure you do it on FanDuel. And Kyle, let's look at the Stanley Cup odds for 2025-26. It's varying based on the platform, but this is who FanDuel has as the favorites for next season. The Carolina Hurricanes plus 700. The front runner right now to win the Stanley Cup next season. What? The Florida Panthers second at plus 750. Oilers also plus 750, followed by the Stars, the Avalanche, the Vegas Golden Knights, Tampa, New Jersey, LA, and the Winnipeg Jets rounding out the top 10. The Vancouver Canucks plus 5,000 to win the Stanley Cup next season. But hey, man, oh man, if you want some better Canucks news, PWHL Vancouver, the favorites to win the PWHL Cup next season, plus 340 if you want to place that bet on FanDuel. So there you go, man. If you want some championship pedigree in Vancouver, the PWHL team might be your best bet. Let's go, man. Some big signings yesterday as well. Whatever bet you're placing in, do it on FanDuel. It's the perfect time to sign up, baby. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel. They are the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about free agents. And free agents I do not want on this team, okay? Because my hockey encyclopedia went through the ringer. My database is stocked. I watch so much hockey not involved in the Vancouver Canucks. And I feel intelligent, man. I feel intelligent, and that's why I don't want Andrei Kuzmenko being a priority for this team. And this may sound crazy, too, because I actually like the player as well. And, I saw a lot of Winnipeg Jets games. And, he was effective. But, he didn't convert too much. But it's Nikolai Ehlers. And I think the Canucks are going to be in on him. I do. Because they're going to lose Brock Besser. And we already been complaining about this team not being able to replace JT Miller. The Canucks are so far away from getting to the point where Florida and Edmonton are. They can't replace one of those two guys properly, And I wonder if Allvin and Rutherford, I know Ehlers doesn't fit that prototype, but I wonder if they're going to be desperate for that replacement of offense and if Ehlers is that guy.
Yeah, some of the reports out there suggest that Ehlers, if he leaves Winnipeg, doesn't want to play for a Canadian team. I mean, I'm not sure about the validity of those reports, but Kyle, I would agree with you. I would think the Canucks would have interest in Nikolai Ehlers, and he's a player. Again, maybe I'm just got those blue and green glasses on more so than you. I really like Nikolai Ehlers as a player. I think he's more dynamic. He's certainly a better playmaker than Brock Besser. He's got better speed. And I think he's been underutilized in Winnipeg throughout his whole career. I actually think there's more there for Nikolai Ehlers if he plays on the top line. The main thing that worries me about him is durability, right? You got a guy like Filipino who's not very durable. This Canucks team had a ton of injuries last season. Are you willing to sign Nikolai Ehlers to a contract knowing that you might miss 20 games a season, right? Which has kind of been the norm for him over the past number of years. So, yeah, I actually like Nikolai Ehlers quite a lot. I would, if between, let's say it's 6 years, $8 million on the table for Besser, Ehlers, I'd prefer Ehlers, but the injury risk does scare me.
You'd prefer Ehlers more than Brock Besser. Everyone, let us know in the comments what you think about that. Because, again, Trevor, you can shut me up, and maybe, again, I think my recency bias with the game of hockey is like making me say all these crazy things. And I know Ehlers is like a slighter player, but I'm not going to say he's like weak along the boards or whatnot. But I just feel like in the playoffs, we saw it for a bit last year. Brock Besser, strong along the boards. Okay. In the playoffs, I feel as if you need players who are good along the boards more so than players who are good in the neutral zone. And I know Ehlers is way better with the puck. Like he can gain the zone by himself, do his thing. Like him and Quinn Hughes would have a lot of fun on the ice together. They would 100%. But a part of me just feels like, again, based on the strength of Brock and like his intelligence and again, the board battles, kind of reminds me of a Carter Verhaeghe. Like, he's a useful player in the playoffs. And I want to win in the playoffs, Trevor. I feel like winning 2 rounds next year, it sounds impossible, but that's like, we're not winning the cup next year. I don't think we are. I know it sounds crazy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not having that West Coast bias, but you could get lucky and win a couple rounds and impress Quinn Hughes and then reopen that window by extending him for 8 years, right? And I think you win 2 rounds in the playoffs, more so with Brock Besser than Nikolai Ehlers because of the board battles. Trevor, do you want to slap me in the face? Because for me,
No, I think there's a book. I'm hitting this button here, the Beggs versus Bhawan bunks. Man, oh man, we've been disagreeing today, buddy. Man, we've gone from friends to colleagues, and man, I'm not even sure we're going to be colleagues after this one. I want Kuzmenko, you don't. I like Ehlers more than you. I prefer Ehlers over Besser. Look, Nikolai Ehlers, 5 goals in 8 playoff games this season. I mean, he did his job in the playoffs. Besser was also good in the playoffs. So I see your point, but I'm going to stand by it. I'd rather Ehlers over Brock Besser. Game's getting quicker, man. Brock Besser's a slow player. Nikolai Ehlers offers more.
But the game's getting stronger, girthier. No? Is it not?
I think you're just getting girthier, bro.
Fair enough. Another guy I don't want is Jonathan Drouin. Now, he's putting up, like, decent points per game. I'm just looking at all these guys. I'm like, yo, the Canucks are going to – I'm not going to say get desperate because Drouin's not a desperate grab, but they're going to try to find some buy low guys, like, you know, just like Florida did to some extent, to fix the top of their lineup. But I just feel as if it's a waste of money, dude. It's a waste of money. I'd rather this team be like so cerebral, look bigger, think about packages. You know, we just talked about like a couple weeks ago, we talked about like, oh, Devin Levi and a first-round pick for Sam Reinhart. What does Archer Shilov's Calder Cup MVP and a first-round pick get you? Like, can we spend more time on that than using our data analysis department to like figure out the fancy stats about Kuzmenko and Jonathan Drouin and Nikolai Ehlers? Because there's got to be like better options out there who can swing the pendulum. And again, I saw Jonathan Drouin's agent tweet out like his points per game over the last like 100 games or last 80 games, and it's decent. It's good. But I could probably put up 10 goals and 11 assists in 82 games playing with Nathan McKinnon. So that tells you something. I guess, Trevor, I'm scared they're going to replace Brock Besser the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, look, they might be desperate out there, right? And, you know, there are reports coming out that they will not be big players in free agency, which would take them out of the Ehlers sweepstakes, but could put them in the Kuzmenko Drouin sweepstakes. And, you know, Kyle, I'm definitely less bullish on Jonathan Drouin. Sure, he's been close to a point a game, but he's done a lot of that damage while playing with Nathan McKinnon. You know, on the power play, you know, at even strength this season. Although, you know, you look at his stats and about half his even strength points this season came when he was not on the ice with McKinnon. So it wasn't all that, but yeah, he's a player that I'm happy for him that he's rejuvenated his career in Colorado. But again, certainly more of a complimentary piece than a play driver. But that kind of applies to most free agents on this list, right? Kuzmenko would fall in that same boat.
Yeah. Dude, this free agent list is just so, like, it's crazy how the Canucks need to get 2 top 6 players. And if you're not getting, like, Mitch Marner, John Tavares, Matt Duchene, who's going to want a lot, are you going to be desperate and pay, like, $7 million for Mikael Granlund? Like, I wonder what Florida and the way they play did for a guy like Granlund. Again, 60-point guy. Like, he's a good offensive player. He's a smart player. And to some extent, like, he can play in like big moments. Like, look at what he did for Finland. Like, he's good play. He's a good player. But I wonder if he lost some money courtesy of Florida being like the way they are. And again, you look down the middle. I'm like, are the Canucks going to get desperate and sign Mikael Granlund to a big deal? Right? I hope not. I like him, but I'm trying to. Do you want to slap me in the face for wanting to be completely like the Panthers? I know it's a copy Panther league, but I just love the way they play, man.
Yeah, no, I can't slap you for that one. I mean, who doesn't want to be like the Florida Panthers, right? So I think the takeaway there is they got 3 lines that, like, all of them can play against anybody, right? I mean, that third line with Lundell, Lucier, and Marchand, one of the best lines in the playoffs. The first line Barkov, Brian Harden for Hagee was amazing. And then you got Kachuk on your second line. I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's an embarrassment of riches there in Florida. And
Dude, that
really
Lusterainen.
benefits the postseason.
How do you say his name? Lusterainen?
Yeah, Lusterinen, I believe.
He's good, man. And I heard they got him for the Vincent Trocheck trade from Carolina. I don't know if it was like the draft pick they used or they actually got him as a prospect. But isn't that another reason why you wanted to trade Brock Besser at the deadline this year? Right? Anyways, I'm going to end on a good note here and a positive note when it comes to like my free agent list. And then we'll cut to break. But based on the way Brad Marchand played this postseason, again, he's not coming to Vancouver, but I would not be scared of giving Claude Giroux a lot of money to come to Vancouver for a bit. I think he's a hockey nerd. I think he takes the game seriously. Right? I do. And I don't know. I think, yeah, bro, more people are drinking water, less people are drinking out there. They're taking care of their bodies. At 37 years old, I'm not that scared of Claude Giroux anymore. And we need help down the middle, and that's a shorter term deal. It could be safer. I know he's older, but I wouldn't be pissed off if Claude Giroux became a Vancouver Canuck.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, he's got the details in his game, right? Great in the dot, great defensively, good at supporting the players around him, great guy in the room. You hear that coming out a lot from Ottawa. I think that the thing for me is I have hesitation that he's even going to leave Ottawa, right? He's from Ottawa. He's got a young family in the area. I would imagine he would stay in Ottawa, but if he doesn't, I would agree with you, Kyle. He's a pretty decent short-term stopgap solution for the Vancouver Canucks.
86 points in 101 playoff games. You know what I'm saying? That's damn impressive. Anyways, let us know in the comments. Ehlers versus Besser. Would you guys be okay giving Claude Giroux 3 years at $7 million? Or Canucks need help down the middle. You want Mikael Granlund for 6 years at $7 million or Claude Giroux at 3 at 7?
Oh yeah, that's Claude Giroux easy, buddy. Claude Giroux easy. Yeah. Okay, let's cut to break here. Let's talk about Abby Canucks and get to your comments on the other side here on Locked On Canucks.
People, we back doing this on the podcast side, and that's talking about your Canucks, enjoying the new season, okay? It's next season is now. We made it. We survived what was the most depressing and most antagonizing Canucks season of all time. But it ended on a good note with the Oilers losing, okay? Speaking of which, Trevor, we got to run the segment, okay? We got to swim in the ocean and play a internet video that I made, okay? Okay, the Oilers lost yesterday, and I made this video. And shout out to my girlfriend. Let's talk about these text messages after,
Look
okay?
at the sun shining on me, baby. Yo, you can't... I would not be here today without my girl, man. She's always had my back. She understands loyalty, man. If you cheered for the Oilers and you're a Canucks fan because of the whole Canada's team thing, yo, you got to do community service. You better be feeding the homeless. Yo, stay true to who you are and do it the hard way. I would not be here without my hot, beautiful Vancouver over everything, man. For real, I love this. Dude, you want to support Canada? Just shop local. Hot, beautiful women love loyalty. And I stand on business. Yo, all those fake Canucks fans who cheer for the Oilers, they cheating on their wives and husbands, bro. You better look through that person's phone. If I would not be the man I am today and accomplish what I accomplished today without my beautiful girl.
Yesterday, I texted my girlfriend saying, yo, baby, the Florida Panthers are up 3-0. And she replied to me. She's like, I told you. And I'm like, what do you mean I told you? And earlier that day, she texted me saying, you're going to get everything you want today.
Woo.
Bro, come on, man. That's unreal. That's unreal. Unreal. I'm just living the dream, brother. I'm not, hey, man. I'm just living the dream. It's not that deep. Again, I'm just super blessed, man. I'm super blessed. There was something else I want to show you too. I don't know why I can't pop it up on the screen. Maybe I can do a little quick print screen right here. Again, we're gonna get to the Abbotsford Canucks thing fairly soon. But Trevor, again, you got me addicted to the game, and I want to hockey nerd out with you, and I want to know if it's possible because you said it's possible. If you want to Before I put up this graphic, do you want to remind people about your miserable team rankings from like 6 years ago or whatever, and talk about how Florida was there?
Yeah, so back when I was at Nucks Misconduct, right before we hit 2020, I looked at 20 years of NHL teams between 2000 and 2020, and I did misery rankings. So basically just based off of regular season record, playoff series wins, and cup final wins. And I had the Panthers as the most miserable team in the NHL in the 21st century. They had made the playoffs 3 times in 20 years, 21 really at that time that I did the article. I don't think they'd won a playoff round in that time. Again, their record in terms of the regular season, I believe, was the worst or certainly bottom 3 in the NHL. I mean, we all know the Florida Panthers were irrelevant, right? They're giving away tickets in cereal boxes. Their buildings were barely half full at the best of times. I mean, it was one of the saddest organizations in the NHL. I mean, Kyle, we were on the show talking about maybe in the early days, maybe even before the show, actually, about how the Florida Panthers should go to Quebec. Give Quebec their team back. Like, they deserve it. That's a rabid fan base. Florida doesn't care about hockey. But look, a winning fixes everything. And the Florida Panthers, really a meteoric rise. And honestly, and I'm putting this on the Canuck angle, like, Canuck fans should have hope because of the fact that Florida basically built their team from the ground up through some shrewd moves, through some great signings, through some great trades. You win a few deals, you can really put your team over the top. And look, we got very unlucky here with the Miller Pettersson situation, but that JT Miller trade was the type of trade that championship teams make. And now for the Canucks, it's about finding the next one. And if the Florida Panthers can do it, honestly, anyone can do it.
Yeah, look at this graphic, man, from Drew Livingston. Okay, these are the notable moves made by the Florida Panthers GM Bill Zito to build the dynasty. Okay, they claimed Gustav Forsling off waivers. So, Trevor, I'm expecting a 100 player report by tomorrow and those 100 players have to be players that could be put on waivers come October next year. Okay, so do your scouting, because I did find an article written in 2017 by, I think, Harrison Mooney. I don't know if you remember who he was, but he wrote an article, I think, the year after the Canucks traded Gustav Forsling, and I don't know how he predicted it, but he's like, this could be like Jim Benning's the final nail. And apparently, he talked to some scouts or whatever that followed Gustav after he got traded and noticed how much better he got. Anyways, he ended up getting waived by Carolina later, or whatever the team was. Anyways, Florida gets Gustav Forsling. They traded for Tkachuk. They traded for Reinhart. They traded for Bennett. They traded a 2nd and a 5th round pick or something for Sam Bennett.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
2 seconds and whatever, okay? 2 seconds for Sam Bennett. Another reason why the Canucks should have probably traded Pius Suter, right?
100%.
And Brock Besser. You need the draft picks.
Yeah.
Anyway,
should have traded Jim Benning too.
Thank you. They traded for Montour as well. Obviously, the Marchand thing and the Tarasenko thing, I guess, last year, it's a bit lucky. The Marchand thing is just lucky. And they traded for Seth Jones too. Hey, prospects, you just got to how would I say it? Okay, the Seth Jones thing is a big thing, okay? So they traded what? Spencer Knight in a 1st-round pick, or Spencer Knight in maybe not even a first? What was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Spencer Knight in a 1st-round pick.
For Seth Jones. And analytically speaking, on a bad team, I can't confirm or deny this, but I feel like Seth Jones was not a darling. He wasn't a guy where everyone's like, oh, you got to get this guy. You got to get this guy. Please do it. Please do it. Get this. No. Seth Jones is an anchor contract, quote unquote, kind of scary. You might want Chicago to retain, but they took that chance. They did their due diligence, and Seth Jones is a big reason why the Florida Panthers went back-to-back Stanley Cups. Trevor, we just went through that whole list. I don't know how it connects completely to the Abbotsford Canucks. I mean, if the Canucks had more 1st-round picks or more 2nd-round picks, no, seriously, if they traded Brock Besser and Pius Suter at the deadline when they should have had, then maybe we see more trades of again, Archer Shilov's in a pick for this person, or I don't know, Kirill Koryatsev or whatever in a 1st because that guy's moving up the rankings. He's a legitimate defenseman. I saw a stat that this guy's been on the ice for 15 plus goals and have been against 3 or something. He's turning into a legit prospect. And if the Canucks had more draft capital to associate with those other B tier prospects, then we might be cooking, because Florida cooked that way.
No, 100%, right? I mean, you got to be ready to make a big deal when it comes about, much like they were with the big move of the Bill Zito era, which was the Tkachuk trade. Maybe we'll talk about it again tomorrow. I did write for Daily Hive today about how the Canucks can get Jason Robertson, because to me, that's the kind of move that a team that the Canucks should be making. But yeah, in terms of Abbotsford, man, oh man, they thumped the Charlotte Checkers 6-1 last night. A lot of the damage, a lot of the goals coming late in the game. But I mean, just look at how many players on that Abbotsford Canucks team have played games with the Vancouver Canucks. It's over half the team. And guys, a guy like Linus Karlsson, he tied the AHL record for goals in a postseason by a Swedish player. 11 goals this postseason. Like, he looks like he has an NHL future. And in terms of trade trips, Victor Mancini was electric again last night for Abbotsford. Kirill Kudryavtsev just smooth, steady. Archer Shilov shut the door again. And I mean, Kyle, we talk about this, and maybe we'll do it again. We did an episode on it already, how the Canucks can get this next Sam Reinhart. It could be a first-round pick and attaching one of these top guys in Abbotsford to a deal. And that was another report that came out from Cam Robinson mentioning how the Canucks might already have a trade in place. But again, they need to wait till Abbotsford's actually done their Calder Cup run before that happens. So, I mean, lost like down to Abbotsford, and shout out to Surrey native Archie Baines. Okay. Again, a really smart, cerebral player. I'd like to think he learned something during his time in the NHL this season, which probably didn't really go according to plan. But man, oh man, 4 points last night, and I think the NHL might be in his future as well too. And Max Sasson had another great game. A lot of guys down there who could either make an impact in the NHL with the Canucks in a bottom six role or bottom pairing D role, or B, and more interestingly, could be part of a package to help get the Canucks the piece they need to put them over the top. Because this organization has the depth. They obviously need the star power. Maybe some of these guys can help get to that goal.
Yeah. Oh man, didn't mean to get depressing there. I'm just thinking more about, again, like if we just had like 3 extra picks this year, courtesy of Pius Suter and Brock Besser, I truly believe the Canucks would be cooking this offseason.
Yeah.
Like they'd be more open to taking risks. But since they just have like the default settings of draft capital, it's kind of like they got to be a bit more cerebral with it. And yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff to be made here, man. Anyways, go Canucks, go. We did it. We went through that season. We got through it, and we got rewarded right at the end. Okay, somehow, some way. No, honestly, Trevor, we did. Like, what are the chances that the Oilers lose again to the Florida Panthers, and then they immediately sign Trent Frederick to a deal worth $4 million a year? Apparently, okay, that's happening. That's like their first order of business. It's like, yo, life is good again, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Life is good. And life is good, Kyle, because I get to do this with you every day, even though we didn't agree on a single thing today.
Okay.
And life's really good because we get to do this for the people here on Locked On Canucks. We appreciate all of you for tuning in. Everyone from the everydayers to the first-time listeners. Shout out to some of the OGs, JS, Andrew, Vancouver is my life, getting back in the chat. Olivia on the go with the great comments today, Colin Whitehead. Again, man on man, we love each and every one of you for tuning in. If you like what we're doing, again, hit the like button, subscribe, follow us on the podcast site. Go share this episode with your friends. Spread the word, and we'll be back tomorrow because it's Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day.